Maybe not maxed out, but I'm not sure.
I didn't want to bring that up. I didn't want to go up there.
Oh, we're starting at 3.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
Get it moving. Get back outside.
We're talking about leasing and building and everything.
Yep. But I was
But
looking
otherwise,
at
I'm happy with the owner's rep. I think they're
okay.
the point is, they cost us money, or
Hello.
the money we're paying enough to justify the savings they're going to. Seems, I think they will. So.
We had to come, okay,
Ooh,
thank you.
same here.
Yeah, I wrote in this morning, so I just bring that to
Oh,
I will.
Yes, I do too. Makes me happy.
how's family?
What's that?
How's your family?
Oh, good. Just talked to Chief yesterday.
Oh, really?
He's coming in on the 25th. Get a hold of you.
Yeah, because I'm trying
Works
to
for me.
show Carol
So you
all the
both
stuff
know
that I would do for the audit, and
I
then I'm trying to
come to
do
town for
things that
Aaron's house
Dave would
fundraiser.
do,
Yeah,
so.
live,
everybody?
Neely Island.
Okay, we are live.
Women's golf basketball.
Thanks.
Women's basketball coach at Notre Dame. She's coming for a fundraiser for Aaron's house. And then Jerome Bettis.
Let's
is
go
coming to
ahead
town
and start the meeting.
for
if we
Big
could.
Brothers Big Sisters for a fundraiser for them.
It is
the next month or
3
so.
o'clock, and it's April
when are
24th,
those events found?
2025. And this is the meeting of the Board Library Trustees for Allen County Public Library. So if we could have our secretary do the roll call, I'd appreciate it. Present.
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 Thank you. Could I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. That moves to approval of minutes. Would like to take them in a group, A through D, if somebody would provide a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, so that passes as well. Financial report, our first.
Official, without Dave. Feel a little sad without Dave not being here.
Dave, if you're watching from home, hello.
I'll bet he's
I-
not.
I don't know, he might be, probably seeing how I'm doing, I don't know.
That could be.
But all the lines, I did put on your report of about the two that I mentioned last month, just because they are still spending the same way, so I went ahead and put those on there. But all the other ones are spending above benchmark or as normal. The news for this month, annual report, we've been looking at the annual report. Annual audit did start on April 7th, and we've been sending everything to Crow, and things have been going well with that, smooth and on target. We do have a meeting with them tomorrow, just to touch base with them, see how things are going. Monday, we had a annual meeting with Board of Directors for the Allen County Public Library Building Corporation. We had Pete and I had a discussion, now that the bond financing is in place for Phase 1, There'll be no need for the building corporation to participate in the project with a first mortgage bond. With that being in place, it was decided to convey title back to the Board of Library Trustees for the following properties: the Main Library, Monroeville, Georgetown, Pontiac, Waynedale, and New Haven branch. We are still going to keep the building corporation in existence and active and as a legal entity, just in case for future projects. We might need to use that for first mortgage bonds, but we are going to keep it running and have annual meetings and that sort of thing. But we did decide to turn the titles back over, so Pete's got the paperwork going for that.
And Joe, just to be clear, so it's not the owner of any of the real estate anymore? The library is the owner of all the real estate now?
Correct.
The deed hasn't been recorded yet.
Yeah, but it will be.
That's
Okay.
the plan, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. We are still monitoring the budget legislative items. Senate Bill 1 was passed on April 15th. There's a lot to that bill. Still monitoring everything. We did talk with Baker Tilly and Jeff Quackenbush through emails. Actually, Jeff was here at the meeting, so he stopped in my office for a little bit. Susan and I are going to have a couple weeks, probably have a few phone calls more with them, but as of right now, we do not see any impact with the bond and how everything is with that. They did not, because they didn't estimate any tax rate. They were not assuming any changes, growth or decline in the 2025 net assessed value. So they're not assuming any changes with that. So we think we're fine with the bond. We do feel that there are going to be some changes, but it's not going to affect how our bond is right now. Everything is going to be fine with that. However, with future projects, it's now requiring a one-year freeze after a bond expires. So currently, if you have a project that's finishing, you can go and have another bond right away. We're no longer going to be able to do that. You're going to have a one-year freeze. So that is something we'll probably have to plan for in the future projects. We're just going to have to keep that in mind. Also, it was very clear when we went county council and city council, they do want us to go to referendum. All referendums with the new law has to go to the general election. It cannot go to primary as well. So that will be another thing that we have to plan for. So that's just little things that we've been finding that are in there. The max levy growth quotient is capped at 4% again in 2026, was estimated at 5.6 without the cap. They're anticipating new formula in 2026. Beginning in 2029, we will be required to hold an additional public hearing on tax rate and levy increase, if it increases at all, even $1. So we always have the regular budget public hearing. We will now be required to have another hearing on tax rate and levy increase. And that has to be 15 days before the regular hearing. So just another one to throw in there. There's lots of things with lit that are happening. That's starting in 2028. Oh, just lots of little things that we're still trying to dig through. But I'd be happy to answer any questions on any of that.
Are there any questions for Joe?
I will add to that, there are lots of things we are still unpacking with all of the changes. And also, I spoke to someone close to the situation who is much more knowledgeable and smarter about it than I am. And he said, they can make changes in the next legislative session. And he's absolutely right. So we can try to figure out what it is now, but
Yeah.
the language could change in the next session, so we'll just hang on tight.
Well, I'm not hearing any other questions for Jill, so we can move on to the approval of claims.
I think we have to approve the financial report, so.
Yes,
Motion to approve the financial report?
thank you.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. So that has been approved. Now we'll move on to the approval of the claims.
Okay,
Comment?
actually, first of all, the approval of the claims for April 11th, I am going to have everyone re-sign that because we did notice that the total was incorrect. It actually reduced. The voids were entered incorrectly on that. So that total was at 1.7 million, and it is now 1.6 million. So I'm going to have everyone re-sign that one. I'll pass that one around. But today's claims are at 656,000, and high dollar is at 204,000. It's for our new fire and security system. They were taking over new video and the new system that they were replacing for the other company. And Indiana, Michigan Power, system-wide electric is at 54,000. And that's about where we're at on claims today.
All right, are there any questions about the claims?
I move we approve the claims.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Hearing none. That has been approved. So we'll move on to committee reports, and that's the capital project.
All right, thank you, everyone. It will be a short report this month. I forget the timeline, but I think everyone knows we've hired an owner's rep for the library to help us in the construction project under the facility master plan and the bond that was approved. We had a kickoff meeting with the owner's rep that we had 4 representatives there, including one of the owners of the company. Met with us. Pat Pastrick, our board member, was there. A good Susan and obviously Kim Boland and other members of Jill and other members of the executive team were there as well, primarily to discuss how we're moving forward, making decisions, making choices, oversight, and the rest between our owner's rep, members of the executive committee, and how that all works. So essentially, we had a good meeting about that here at the library. Connected with this as well, we've sent out the request for proposal for the architectural services that are required. Those proposals are due on May the 2nd. I think Susan explained better that, but we've essentially sent it to local. We do have preferences, but essentially we have sent it out. Obviously, I want to make sure it's public and anybody listening understands. Have any questions, contact Susan, and she will get you to the information you need. But the deadline is coming up very quickly on May 2nd.
And Marty, I will add, it is posted on the Facility Master Plan website for the public to see.
All right, great. So just look up ACPL, Facility Master Facility Plan. You should be able to find it
Yes.
out there. Then also, the owner's rep is going to be having another meeting with executive team by Zoom, I believe this time, on construction delivery methods, because I certainly need to be educated and other people do as well, so we could then make a good recommendation to this board on how to proceed when we actually get to contracting for the actual building of our buildings and remodeling of our buildings. But that's my report. Happy to answer any questions, but that's where we're at. We're moving forward.
Are there any questions from fellow board members? Not hearing any, so we'll move right along to the request for adjustment of authorized staffing table, and I assume Lorraine's going to handle that.
She is.
Hi.
Nope.
We are excited to bring this request to adjust our authorized staffing table. As you may know, if we want to make a change to a job title or add a position, we come to you all to do so. So we are restructuring the staffing of our Maker Lab now that we've restructured them to the studios. I know we talked about this last year with the opening of the studio expansion. We are looking at making the staffing changes that are reflected in your packet. These staffing changes were in the 2025 salary budget, so there's no budget implications. But we were waiting on an official retirement to make this change where Access and Studio officially split. So we're recommending the P2 system-wide program and partnership specialist position be reclassified to an M2 system-wide manager of the studios. So there are studios at other branches, and this person would oversee all of those studios, including the one here at Maine. We have an internal candidate for this position. This candidate is currently serving as the specialist in that P2 role, and we don't have plans to backfill that role. We are also recommending the creation of an M1, which is a supervisor for our main studio, so they would manage the expansion of the studio and the staff here at the main branch only. Both of these positions would fall under the leadership of Beth Boatright, our Director of Partnerships and Programs, and we're recommending the elimination of the M1 Assistant Manager in our Access Fort Wayne department with these shifts. And you should have the two new job descriptions, the manager of the studio and the studio supervisor in your packets.
Are there any questions for
Question,
Lorraine about this?
how many studios do we have?
We have 5. Thank you, Beth. Obviously, the one here at Maine is the largest, but we have 5.
Well, I'm going to support this, but I just want to make sure we encourage everybody to basically make sure we keep promoting it, get people in there to use it, because the facilities are great.
Yes.
They're used by those who do love it, and I think we just need to keep getting,
Yeah.
have these managers which work on making sure more people get
Yeah,
in there.
agreed.
We have waiting lists on the programs in
Okay.
the studios.
Okay.
Yes, they've been a wild success, but we absolutely agree, yes. More the merrier.
Any other questions? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the adjustment of the authorized staffing table.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're on to the executive director's report.
Thank you, Paul. I submitted a written report, some highlights. The library and the Genealogy Center hosted the 2025 Indiana Genealogical Society Annual Conference on April 11th and 12th. We also were the recipient of an award. We were awarded the IU, Paul, you'll approve of that, the IU School of Social Work, Fort Wayne, 2025 Outstanding Community Partner Award. So representatives from the School of Social Work told us, your partnership in growing our BSW and MSW students in their practicum placements has been so appreciated, and both students and faculty have noted your dedication to supporting students, fostering growth and learning, and the dedication of ACPL to serving our community. So congratulations to our social service coordinator, Cass, and the interns that work for him, and our entire team for this award. Our library at home department hosted a new for us networking event that was really successful. It was earlier this month, held here in the main library. It was a mixer, if you will, for nursing home and assisted living activity directors. And we had about 40 in attendance, so they were able to network among themselves, but also they were able to learn about our offerings. And I believe it's something that we're going to start offering on a semi-regular basis because it was so well received. I am heading out in a few hours to the club room at the Clyde for our 4th and final night of the partnership with the club room to raise funds for Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. We have been so successful so far in our first 3 Thursdays. We have raised over $2,500, which we weren't quite sure what to expect, so this is absolutely delightful, and the club room has just been remarkable to work with. A great partner. I want to remind everyone that tickets for a night at the library are still on sale. Ticket sales have started out very strong. I believe we're at about 75 tickets sold, but there's still plenty more to buy. We've added some additional features to the night, including a string performance from students at Canterbury Schools, and also a local artist named America Carrillo. She is going to be creating a piece of art live in the Kroll Gallery throughout the evening, and then the final product will be put up for an auction at the end of the night. So that should be a lot of fun. Speaking of conferences, on May 7th, we will be hosting here at the main library the Indiana Library Federation Regional Conference, and our keynote speaker is Fort Wayne's own Andy Hines-Logman. She is also doing the keynote speakers at the other ILF regional conferences around the state. So we're happy to have Fort Wayne represented in that way. And yesterday, thanks to Gloria, I was the speaker at the Allen County Retired Educators Association luncheon and gave a presentation on Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. And several of the members there gave very generous donations to the program. So I'm just really grateful for Gloria for facilitating that. It was a wonderful afternoon.
You did a wonderful job.
Thank you. I will add on the Dolly Parton note, since Jill talked about some of our legislative updates. As all of you, I'm sure, well know, the legislative session is winding down for the season. They may wrap up, I think they'd like to wrap up tonight, but they have to wrap up by, I think, April 29th. It does not look like the Imagination Library is going to be put back into the state budget. So we will be optimistic about our First Lady and her philanthropy efforts to find those matching funds for us, because we definitely are going to need those to keep the program growing and keeping it sustainable. I also want to draw your attention to the quarterly manager's report, which I know all of you look forward to reviewing each quarter. A few things that I highlighted that I thought might be of interest. On page 9, our Little Turtle branch, they are going to be our next branch to receive a Storyscape early literacy space. So they are almost done, and we will be opening that officially next month. So pop into Little Turtle and see it. I've seen what's up so far, and it is delightful. So thanks to Kim Boland and Jackie for their leadership in the project. Also, you may know that our Little Turtle branch is home to our seed library. So it's literally in an old school card catalog. Remember those? You like pull out the drawer. Well, instead of the little index cards, there are packets of seeds. And they will send seeds to other libraries in the system. So if you're at Monroeville or at the main library and you want seeds sent to you, you can do that. And they have had just a real run on business this year. I think people are just in the mood to garden and grow their own food. By the end of March, they've checked out over 2,300 seed packets. So they are quite busy over there. I also wanted to point out on page 30, there's a mention of our annual AARP tax preparation partnership, which just wrapped up for the season a few weeks ago. And this year, we served 3,696 taxpayers who came to an Allen County Public Library to have their taxes prepared by the AARP volunteers. And in comparison, in the previous year, it was 2,369, so a pretty dramatic increase.
I like
I would note just walking in the building, you definitely saw people lined up to go in and to get the taxes done, so.
Yes.
That's a great program.
It's a very, very popular
I wanted
service.
to comment on that because an elderly couple from my church who was very impressed by what was offered there, and it went very nicely.
Thank you. It's a wonderful service. We're grateful for the partnership. The AARP volunteers are amazing to work with, and it also brings in people who may not normally be library patrons, so they're introduced to what the library has to offer as well, particularly if they're waiting for their appointment. There's all kinds of things to look at. And that's my director's report.
Any questions for Susan?
I just want to make comments. Again, I love the manager's report,
I know.
so I'm glad we're doing that quarterly, and it looks, I think it's great history, lets people know, and also lets people know what we did. Shout out also to the collection management report by Matt Etzel was, I think, we've been doing that for quite a few years now, and I think it's great to have that resource and information available, not only to the board, but just available to other people in the library
Yeah,
as well. that
it's very
need it.
useful.
So it's great to have that out there.
And I will add that Aja and her team send a hard copy of the quarterly manager's report to our entire delegation of local, state, county elected officials.
Thank you for that. Are any other questions for Susan after the report? Okay, hearing none. Is there new business to come before the board?
There is new business. I will turn it over to Mr. Storer.
Thank you. We have previously reported a claim against the Allen County Public Library, and I'm here to report that we have a proposed resolution to that claim. In order to conclude the documentation necessary, I would request a motion from the Board of Trustees to give the Executive Director the authority to execute any necessary documents to facilitate the resolution of the claim and to pay any amounts associated with that resolution.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Hearing none, that has been approved. Okay, no other new business, I believe. Is there any public comment? Do we have anybody here that'd like to speak or online? Not hearing any? Well, I think we can adjourn if you would like to entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. We are adjourned.
This might be a
That
record,
was- that was
3:23. Yeah.
painless.
Thank you, everybody.
That's okay. It's a beautiful day out.
Absolutely.
Beautiful day to ride a bike.
It is.
Thought I'd be late going over to country night at the Clyde, but I'm not. I'm gonna be right on time.
It's country night tonight.
It's Nashville night on Thursdays, so that's why.